Alrighty, everyone. I'm just going to do a quick sound check here just to make sure everybody can hear me and see me on your screen. I just want to make sure. So your screen should be on active speaker view. So for those of you who are joining us here already, please make sure that you can see me and hear me, and we will get started. So first and foremost, my name is Emily Daly. I am an assistant director of admission here at the University of Hartford. I'm in my third year here at the university, and I am also an alum. So I've been here for a while now. I am the current supervisor of the Red Key Society, which are the students who will be joining us here today. They are our tour guides here on campus. They are all current students. So without further ado, basically the whole point of this event here today is for us to kind of learn a little bit more about, when students aren't in their dorm rooms or in class, where are they on campus? This is our kind of campus hotspots event. So, where students are spending their time here at the university. So we appreciate you guys all joining us virtually today. And we are going to get started. So I am going to introduce Ben and Rylan, who are going to show us the Jenga Student Union, which is our student union here on campus, and talk a little bit about what it is like to be a UHart student and what the student union is like. Take it away, guys.
Hi, everybody. My name is Rylan. I'm a freshman here on campus. I'm a part of Red Key, which is tour guiding and stuff like this. My major is architectural technology and design in the College of Engineering, Technology, and Architecture. And we're about to show you GSU, but this is...
My name is Ben. I'm a sophomore entrepreneurial studies marketing double major. We're really excited that you joined us this evening, and we're going to show you our Jenga Student Union.
So GSU is basically the only non-academic building on the academic side of campus. It looks like this. It's a pretty large lounge. A lot of students come here in between classes to study or eat some food. We have the GSU Cafe right over there. It has Moe's, it has Einstein's Bagels and Bros, it has a rotating grill, it has a burger bar, pizza, poke bowls, salad bar. It has a bunch of cool foods that students can get in between classes, just a bite to eat, and that's an option for them as well.
In our basement, we have some exciting stuff. We have our mail room, so standard mail room. You can send and receive outgoing packages, as well as you have your postal boxes for receiving all those letters from your relatives. We also have our ID office, so if you have any problems with your ID, just go down and see them and they'll help take care of you. We also have our Student Government Association. So we have over 100 plus clubs and organizations, and the SGA office is down there, which oversees all the clubs. So if you're looking to get involved with SGA or any of our clubs on campus, they're housed in our basement in Jenga Student Union.
And then on this main floor, we have a few offices that students can utilize throughout the school year. We have the Office of Engagement and Inclusion, which is also in charge of the 100 plus organizations and clubs here on campus. They also oversee SGA, and they're just a way to kind of see how you can get involved on campus, different activities that you can partake in. And we also have the Office of Career and Professional Development. They basically help you with resume building, finding opportunities for internships, meeting people out there in the business world. So it's a great resource for students as well on this floor.
We also on our upper floor have CAPS, which is our psychological services. So if you need any psychological support while you're on campus or just need to talk to somebody, we have that for you. It's free and confidential for all students. It's included with your tuition. So another great resource within our Jenga Student Union. Additionally, above us, we do have our study abroad office. So if you're interested in studying abroad, you're going to head up there and they'll set you up with all the tools and required information so that you can set and jet wherever you may choose.
Yep, and that wraps it up for GSU, Jenga Student Union. I hope you guys enjoyed looking at it and seeing what it's about. Hope to see you guys here next semester. Bye.
Thank you, Ben and Rylan. I appreciate you guys showing us around the student union. So I am going to jump to Donovan and Kevin now, who are over at kind of a newer location on our campus, our fire pit. So take it away, guys.
All right, howdy y'all. My name is Donovan Eaton. I am a junior from Bethel, Connecticut, dual majoring in criminal justice and psychology. In addition to being a Red Key tour guide, I'm also actually on the executive board for the Red Key Society as the director of scheduling. I'm an RA for first year students, and I'm also the vice president of our Residence Hall Association. Now behind the camera is Kevin. Don't know if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, I can't. How do I flip the camera? Here we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Kevin. I'm a fourth year interdisciplinary engineering student here at the university. I'm also a part of Red Key Society. Been a part of it for the past 3 years. I'm on my fourth year now. I'm also an orientation leader. I have some experience with the Student Government Association, and I've been a part of some few committees here on campus.
Okay, back to me. All right, so there's not really much to go over here. We're just here to show you the fire pit, which is in front of C neighborhood, which are just one of the neighborhoods for freshman residency. And this fire pit, although not the intention with COVID, it has really helped out with COVID. This fire pit was built and integrated here, and I would say the winter of 2019, 2020, last winter. It is open and available for all students to use at any hour of the day or night. Students are able to turn on the fire pit, which is actually controlled by propane, so they don't have to light it with a match or anything. They could just turn it on. And yeah, that's a little bit about the fire pit, and we will get to take a look inside of C neighborhood soon enough.
Thank you, Donovan and Kevin. I appreciate you guys showing us around. I think that's definitely such a cool location that we have here on campus. And it's been, as I said, a really great resource for students to spend some time outside, especially in, our recent circumstances. So next, I am going to jump over to Abby and Isabel, who are over in one of our most popular locations on campus for students, especially this time of year as we are nearing finals. So Abby and Isabel, if you want to jump in and show everyone the library. Isabel, you're muted.
That is so embarrassing. Okay, hi everyone. My name is Isabel. I'm a junior studying prosthetics and orthotics with minors in Spanish and psychology. And then I also need to figure out how to turn out the camera. Wow, I'm so bad at this. Here, you can just take the phone out of me.
Okay. My name is Abby Riley. I'm also a junior studying prosthetics and orthotics. I've been involved in student government as well as the Residential Hall Association and giving tours as well. So right now we're in the library, if you guys can see behind us. So in the library, it's kind of broken up by noise levels. Downstairs is almost completely silent in our Allen Library, which has listening spaces for a lot of our Hart students to listen to music and take notes of the written music down there. There's also a Mac lab located downstairs. On this main floor in the library, we do have a Starbucks. Does get a little loud on this floor, but it is mostly for collaborative group work. And we have big TVs that you can hook multiple laptops up to and do a lot of really fun group work. And then upstairs, there's plenty of places to tuck yourself away. It's pretty quiet up there. There's a bunch of different workspaces, desks, couches, and really other really good spaces up there. They also have little study rooms you can take keys out to. So there's a whiteboard in there so you can practice all your really hard chemistry equations up on the board up there.
All right, thank you guys. We appreciate it. Our library is definitely one of our most popular locations this time of year. So definitely you'll see a lot of students in and out of there throughout the day for sure. Next, I want to see if Donovan and Kevin are ready for us. They might not be yet, but we are going to jump into, they are. We are going to jump into our C neighborhoods and show you what kind of some student lounges look like in the freshman residence halls.
Okay, so yes, Emily, we are ready, and we are down here in the basements of C neighborhoods. These basements were recently renovated, so they put in new flooring, new lighting, and they've also implemented these spaces for students to get together and kind of network and interact and just hang out. So down here, we've got foosball tables. We've got these big screens with these wraparound sofas for, gaming or just watching movies, just hanging out. We've got pool tables and the pool cues and all that. And then if you follow me through this back room, we've actually got another TV, all these egg chairs here, and this will be primarily for gaming, whereas again, in that back room, that is for movies. So yeah, this space, like I said, has just recently been renovated. As of last summer, I believe, they renovated this, they renovated the Sports Center's gym. So this, again, is just a great space for students to be able to get together, hang out, network, and chill out in the basements of C neighborhood.
Donovan, we also had a question that came in that asked about, is that available to all freshmen? So do you want to talk about where these game rooms are located?
Yeah, so as I had said kind of at the start, these rooms are located in the basements of C neighborhood. However, all the other neighborhoods should have similar TV lounges and gaming lounges in their basements as well. Right now, with the COVID policies that we've got in place, residents are only allowed to go into the TV and gaming lounges of their own neighborhood. So if you live in C neighborhood, you go into these TV and gaming lounges. Same thing over in D neighborhood, you go into those TV and gaming lounges. But they are open and available to use for residents of that specific or that given neighborhood.
Thanks, Donovan. Awesome. And then our last location that we're going to show you guys today is one that is on the academic side, which is in our Barney School of Business. So I'm going to jump over to Kalia and Kyle, who are going to show you around that location.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kalia White. I am a junior here at the university, a marketing major and communications minor. And we have...
Hi, everyone. My name is Kyle. I'm a freshman accounting major in the 3+1 program here at the Barney School of Business. And we're excited to show you around Barney really quick. So right here is the main entrance. When you come to a class in Barney, you're going to walk in through this door. Then you're going to enter our Stanley Black & Decker Commons. This is a nice newly renovated space that we have here with plenty of nice comfortable chairs as well as desks for students to study at between classes. Over here we have this cool jump charge station, which features portable battery packs. Thank you to our donors at Hubble for that, that students can take with them to charge their devices. Over this way, we have bathrooms as well as more classrooms and staircases to some of our upper levels in this building. Also a new renovation to the Barney School is our trading room and analytics lab. So this room is fully equipped with Bloomberg trading terminals as well as a rotating stock ticker. So anyone interested in finance will probably be spending some time in here. We also have a bunch of, I'm not sure if you guys can see this too well, but we have these mock conference rooms over here that were installed recently to kind of mimic spaces that you would see in an actual, corporation if you end up working in one day, as well as more comfy chairs in classrooms and lounge spaces. So that covers most of the main floor in the Stanley Black & Decker Commons here in Barney.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So what I'm going to do next is I'm actually going to switch us to a gallery view here so we can jump in and start to answer some of your questions. So first and foremost, we have a couple questions that have come in, and first and foremost, I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit, if we want to go around really quickly, and I'm going to probably put Kaylee on the spot if I can, to start us off is, can you guys talk about some of your, when you're spending time that's not in your dorm room, where do you guys like to spend time on campus? And it can be in a non-COVID world as well too, for those of you who are upperclassmen as well.
Okay, well, first and foremost, I love to spend time in my room. My naps and everything. But if I'm not in my room, I'm usually probably in the library, realistically. And then if not there, probably in GSU, because it's like so much space in there. Like you have areas to just chill and you have areas to eat. So a little bit of everywhere, but I'll definitely say my favorite is my room for sure. Kyle?
Yeah, one space that I really liked outside of what Kalia mentioned is our Shaw Center over in Hilliard Hall, which you guys will see when you get here. But it's a great study space, and if the library is packed, It's usually not so busy over there. So great space to keep an eye out for when you guys get here in the fall.
Awesome. Does anybody else want to jump in, and do they have a favorite spot? Either Isabel and Abby, or Donovan or Ben?
Perfect. My favorite spot. Definitely my
I was gonna say, my favorite spot is definitely the Starbucks in the library. It's always good for a good pick-me-up.
Awesome.
Spot is definitely the library on the 3rd floor. I have a particular desk I sit at every single time I'm up there.
Yeah, and then my favorite spot, I love being outside, so I really like in the upperclassmen apartment side of campus, there's like a huge grassy space out in the middle, and that is my favorite space to spend time on a sunny day.
All right, I guess if I'm going last, some place that I like to spend when I'm not in classes. Freshman year, one of my friends who, has since graduated and, they've moved on, they showed me this really quaint little spot, these benches on the academic side, pretty much in the middle of the academic quad. And, whenever it's a sunny day, or if I just need a place to sit and think, that's usually where I'll go.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So I do see some questions that are coming in about dorms and all that stuff. So this webinar particularly is focusing on the campus hotspots. We do have lots of opportunities on our website for you guys to take a look at some pre-recorded videos of the dorms here on campus. This is the 3rd series in Living at UHart. So we did two episodes, I guess we could call them, ago, of the dorms itself. But I definitely would take a look. There's also some dorm tours on our Instagram highlights as well too. But there is some questions that we can certainly answer for you guys. I do see a question that came in about where do you oh, hold on, I don't want to answer that one yet. We'll answer that one next. Where do students, is there opportunities for students to have single rooms? Are there apartment style livings? Can you guys just talk a little bit about what the kind of living situation is on campus? Maybe one of our upperclassmen wants to talk about where they've lived and the different kind of styles there are as well too.
So in my freshman year, of course, I lived in a double, just like all freshmen. I did live in the neighborhoods, which is what you kind of saw a little bit of. But I currently, for the last 2 years and next year, will be living in a single, preferably because I don't really like to share my housing space too much. So I do have a single, but there are options to be in a double in an apartment style, whereas you can have 4 singles, a double and 2 singles, just various different options as far as upperclassmen housing is concerned.
Awesome. Thanks, Galia. And then here's another interesting one as well too, of talking about where do you guys like to go when you leave campus? When you're going off campus, where do you like to go if you're leaving the university? So maybe Donovan, do you want to start?
Yeah, sure. So a really nostalgic spot for me would be Isaac's Bagel Cafe, which is just 7 minutes down the road. In addition to that, we've also got West Farms Mall with a whole bunch of shopping outlets and different food places. Bishop's Corner, Blueback Square, places like that. Those just have a lot of off-campus eateries and, like I said, shopping outlets, places where you can go shopping. And yeah, I'd say those are my top places to go when I'm off campus.
Abby, Isabel, do you guys have a favorite spot off campus?
Personally, my favorite thing to do is go hiking. We have a couple places that me and my friends go closest to the university. We've gone pretty far for hiking sometimes, but close to the university, we have Talcott Mountain. And it's a pretty nice trail. It's very steep at the beginning, but there's some really good lookout spots on Connecticut.
Yeah, so I like Talcott Mountain as well, but Donovan mentioned Blueback Square. That's usually where I'll be going. I went there to get smoothies the other day. There's just so many different types of food that you can get there.
Well, I'll let Kyle go first this time around.
Well, I think I have kind of a unique perspective, just because I'm actually commuting to the university this year. I just live about 30 minutes away. So, but I really do like Blueback Square. A lot of us here at UHart kind of view it as an extension of our campus. There's a lot of shopping centers there, as well as, probably 20 plus restaurants. So it's a cool place that I like to go and get lunch with my friends if we're not eating on campus.
And I say this for every single time. My favorite place to go is Target. I absolutely love it there. It just feels like heaven. I go in there whether I need to buy something or not. And yes, our campus shuttle takes us there, so I don't even have to worry about paying for gas or for a ride.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Ben, do you have a favorite spot? I'm not sure if you're still there.
Yeah, so one of my favorite spots off campus is actually a place called Milkcraft. They use liquid nitrogen to make ice cream right in front of you. It's a really cool experience if you haven't done it before. And the bubble cones are just so good.
Milkcraft is really great. Awesome. So Donovan, I'm going to throw this one to you. It is a question that says, does residential life plan activities or educational programs for students? And I know you know the answer to this one firsthand.
Yeah, so as I said briefly in my introduction, I'm the vice president of our Residence Hall Association. Abby is also in RHA, so she can attest to this. But yes, we do put on programs and events to engage the campus community at large. We are by no means suitcase school. You won't see people packing up and leaving on the weekends because there's nothing to do. There is always something to do on campus. We plan monthly bingos where you could win some huge prizes, like, PlayStation 4s, AirPods, big prizes to kind of incentivize you to go to bingo. We also do, movie on the village lawn. We have food truck Fridays and sweets truck Saturdays, and a whole bunch of different things that we put on, as well as different prize hunts. So we will hide, these stuffed animals around campus that correlate to a different prize that you could win. It's kind of like an Easter egg hunt, but just every single month. So we put on tons of different events to engage the campus community at large. I don't know if Abby wants to say anything else about that.
Yeah, there's also sports games on campus. They're free for all students to go to. Also, we do have, besides the Residential Hall Association, we have Hartford Events and Activities team, and they also plan a lot of really good events. They had a make your own pot for plants. And you got a free plant and a nice little pot to decorate. That was just last week, and they typically do trivia also once every couple weeks as well as what we do.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So I did see another question that I think is a great question to talk about a little bit. And I can talk about it a little bit. And if you guys have anything that you want to add, we can certainly talk about that. Talking a little bit about how at this time of day that we don't see a ton of students hanging out in the locations that you guys are in at this moment. I know Abby and Isabel, you guys probably are a little bit busier than most over there in the library. But the question was, is this because of COVID restrictions? So I would probably jump in and say, not necessarily. I would say that this actually is kind of a time, I think it's the 5 to 7:20 class that goes on. A lot of students have a night class that goes from 5 to 7:20. So a lot of our students are probably in class at this point. And as I said before too, we are kind of nearing that finals kind of location. So, there's going to be also a lot of students where Abby and Isabel are in the library, as well as studying in their rooms, things like that, really cracking down. We certainly have had really great, I feel like our university has done a great job of working with the students on COVID restrictions to make sure everybody is safe and everybody is, being able to still kind of have that balance of, being able to get outside, interact with other people, places where Donovan is in the fire pits and things like that. So I would say, certainly students are, are finding time to spend time together in a safe manner for sure. So I don't know if anybody has anything that they want to add to that, but I don't know if that kind of covers it. Good. Elia,
yeah, just to add a little bit to it. A lot of these spaces as well are more like throughout the day, earlier in the day type of hangout spots. So like this is an academic building. So once classes are over, you don't tend to see people over here because this is the academic side of campus. So you can understand the residential side. But like a lot of these spaces are just more so for throughout the class day. So like if you're a commuter student like Kyle, you can go sit right here and do your homework, or if you have class at like 11:30 and then 12:30, you just wait in here for your next class. So a lot of the more spots that you're maybe talking about in that question are a little bit more spread out on the residential side.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Maybe this will be an interesting one to kind of talk a little bit about too. What kind of activities have been going on in the past couple weeks? Have you guys taken part in anything? Again, I know finals have been nearing us, so I know a lot of you guys have been working really hard, but is there anything that's been going on campus that you guys want to talk about in the past couple weeks?
Just last weekend, I'm blanking on the exact name of the event, but the university hosted this like really cool event over in near our Conover space, where they brought in like sort of like festival games and food trucks and stuff like that. So I saw a lot of students over there, and I was actually giving tours that day and got to swing by afterwards and grab some food and play some games with some friends. So that was a really great way to kind of de-stress going into our, tough last couple weeks before finals. So I really enjoyed that.
Another fun thing that we've been doing is we have a food truck Friday. So every Friday, they bring a different food truck to campus, and it's free to the first 100 students. Typically, they park right outside the fire pits, and we enjoy the food. And then on Saturdays, they have a sweet truck that comes to campus. They do it also at the fire pit. So that's another fun thing that we try to do to get people out and about. And obviously, we're outside, so it's always a good time.
Awesome. Does anybody have anything else they want to add? Or are we good to move on? Good. All right. So the next one we have that came in is talking about how it's asking about how if like the buildings or other departments are close by on campus, but I think we could probably talk about it even more generally. Kalia, do you want to talk a little bit about how long it takes you to get kind of from one side of campus to the other, and what your kind of like daily commute is?
Yeah, so I like to kind of say that our campus is not too big, but not too small. Oh my goodness, not too big, but not too small. And it takes you about 10 to 15 minutes walking from the residential side of campus to the furthest academic building, depending on how you walk. Like an average person, about 15 minutes. And if you're like running late or you're speeding up, it'll take you less than 10 minutes, especially on the the freshman side. It's a lot closer to the academic side. So that's kind of what it's like. You don't need a shuttle to get around campus. It's fairly simple walk. And like we said, it's a separation. So like on the weekend, you don't really come over here unless you're going maybe to the library. You really spend a lot of your time just on the residential side.
Perfect. Thanks, Kalia. So this is another good one. It's kind of talking about, is there unique places for honor students? Either Abby or Isabel, do you guys want to talk a little bit about the honors residential learning community?
You got it.
All right. Yeah. So one of the residential learning communities that we have in Hawk Hall is the honors floor. So if you were admitted to the honors college, you can apply to live on the honors floor as well. So with that, you'll be taking a specific class that is just for the honors floor students. So you're all taking that class together, and you live right next to everyone else taking that class, so it's super easy to get together and study. With the Hawk Hall, there is a study room specific, like just for studying, that's separate from the lounge spaces, so you can get together with the other honors students and do your homework together, whether or not it's for that specific honors class or not. So that is, I'd say, just the main, if not only, space for like specific for honors students.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So here's another question that came in is, are the gym facilities available to all students, even with the COVID restrictions? Donovan, take it away.
Yeah, I've been eyeballing this question ever since it came in. So yes, the gyms are open for all residential students to use. And like I said, when I was down in C Neighborhood's basement, the gym was renovated along with the basement. So summer of 2019, they were renovated. So they knocked down a whole bunch of walls, whole bunch of pillars, made it a bigger, more open space, put in that typical black gym mat flooring that we all know and love. It smells like a gym, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, they've got tons of different equipment in the gym, depending on what kind of training you're into. So they've got, a boxing bag for, those in the boxing club, because we have one of those on campus. They've got pseudo tires for tire flips and boxes for box jumps. They've got, assault bikes and rowers for more CrossFit oriented style workouts, as well as your typical cardio equipment like treadmills and ellipticals. They've got a cable station, free weight station, deadlift station, squat rack, you name it. There's practically anything and everything that you could ever ask for in our gym, and it is open for all residential students to utilize.
Awesome. Thanks, Donovan. So this is another one that came in. It's what kind of stores does the university have kind of for shopping? I guess we can kind of answer this in a two-part, like maybe if you guys want to talk about the Conover Market, and then if you want to talk about kind of the shuttle system of where students are going when they are leaving campus and kind of what's available to them. Ben, do you want to take this one?
Yeah, so we have a Conover Market, which is on the academic side. So that's like your typical like 7-Eleven style. It has like a lot of grab and go options for students, as well as stuff to prepare your meals. So if you're looking to shop, it's like more of a convenient style. They have, different options for students for different needs. So if you're looking to grab something to cook a quick meal, you don't necessarily have to grab the shuttle to go to like a Walmart. But that is something we do have. So on the weekends, we have a shopping shuttle, and one of the stops will take you to the Target. So if you need to gather any meal items or stuff like that, you can get that and then bring it back on the shuttle to campus, which is free for all students. So an option if you're looking for more variety, you can always go to that Target.
Awesome. Thanks, Ben. Okay, so I don't know if anybody lived in Hawk Hall or lives in, Ben, you're not in Hawk Hall currently. I think Donovan lived in,
I live in.
You do live in Hawk Hall. Okay. So for this is asking a little bit about, does Hawk Hall have a basement space similar to the C neighborhood, with spaces for gaming, foosball, et cetera? Do you guys want to talk about the lounges in Hawk Hall and kind of what they look like?
Yeah, sure. So we don't have a typical basement like they do in the neighborhoods, but we do have a few different unique spaces. So each floor has their own like little study lounge, as well as a space where students can, play. They have a large TV, some comfy seating, some game tables. But also, so each floor has that common space lounge where you can hang out with the TV, as well as a study space with more like whiteboards, more flexible seating for studying, as well as in the main level, there's, a large space for students to hang out with foosball tables and another large TV with some seating. So not the same setup as the basements in the neighborhoods, but similar, collaborative space, as well as hangout space. So definitely an abundance of space to hang out, either resident space that you're living in.
Awesome. Thank you. So this next question is, are there places where foreign cultures feel represented, maybe in restaurants nearby, things like that? I know certainly there are particularly some really, really amazing restaurants in the Hartford area and the West Hartford area that I would highly recommend. I don't know if anybody in particular wants to jump in and answer this question. Does anybody have, any favorite restaurants or things like that that they want to talk about?
I know in the surrounding area, some food places that I'll go to, there's Ocho Cafe, which is this, Mexican food establishment. There's Coma, which is like hibachi. There's Seoul Barbecue and Sushi, which is Korean barbecue, which is one of my personal favorites. And yeah, there's just a ton of, I know that there's a Jamaican food place that my barber from back home recommended to me. I haven't gotten the chance to check it out yet, but apparently he lives in the surrounding area, so I will have to check it out at some point. But yeah, there's a lot of different, variety off campus. I know Kaylee, I wanted to jump in. I'm sorry I cut you off.
I was actually going to talk about those Jamaican restaurants. So I'm Jamaican and I miss my mom's food sometimes. So one of those restaurants is Benji's, and then the other one is Carson's Kitchen. So those are, yeah, it's Benji's. So those are pretty close. You can obviously go pick it up. I usually do Uber Eats or something. But yeah, like Donovan mentioned, a ton of other restaurants around. I know my roommate did go to an African restaurant while, you know, we've been on campus. So I know there's one, I can't tell you the name, but she really enjoyed it. But in the area, there's just like a lot of good food itself. So I'm sure you'll find something. Hartford and West Hartford is like very culturally rich. So you will definitely find a lot of different options to enjoy.
Going off that too, even if you're not heading off campus, our dining team works wonderfully. They try to accommodate all different styles of meals. So they typically have a taste of home night. So all the chefs prepare different cultured dishes. So you get to explore all different food options without having to leave campus as well. So another nice option for students.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. So I'm going to jump to Abby and Isabel again, just because they are there. And it just wants, the question is the library open at all times? You guys just want to talk about the library hours really quickly?
So currently with COVID, the library is open from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Before COVID, they used to be open till 1 a.m. During the week, and then they closed, I believe, at 7 on the weekends, 6 or 7 on the weekends. And during finals week, they're open 24/7. I definitely took a couple naps here my freshman year finals week, but it has really good hours. So you always have a chance to come print your paper before your morning classes.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So I guess this is a question for really any of you guys, and I think maybe we might have a couple different of you guys jump in for this one. And it says, are the events that happen on campus a good way to make friends? Does anybody want to jump in?
I'll go on that one. So definitely, I think not only are events a good way to meet friends, definitely clubs and organizations. We have over 100 clubs and organizations. So it's a great way to meet new friends. Especially I've met a lot of wonderful people being part of the Red Key Society. So definitely, if you're looking to meet new people, you know, join different clubs and organizations. There's always an event happening on campus. There hasn't been a single night that I've been here that there wasn't something really going on for students. So we try to you know, make sure that people are connected, especially when they first come to campus. The first couple of weeks, they're doing a lot of events, a lot of team building stuff. So definitely, the more you become involved, the more you get out of the experience, is what I always tell people. So there's a lot of ways to get involved, and yeah.
Just to quickly go off what Ben was saying, I do think the events are a really great way to meet people and make friends. And one thing I would just sort of remind everyone coming in as freshmen, chances are that most people are in a similar situation as you, where you're coming to a new space, you're living in a new home, and you know, no one really knows that many other people. So everyone's kind of looking to make friends and sort of form their social circle. So, you know, I would just suggest that you kind of be outgoing and, you know, try to just talk to as many people as you can, especially at our events. And if you choose to join a club, or, you know, even on like the first day of classes, it can never hurt. So it worked out really well for me. I don't know about anyone else, but yeah, I found that that's just a great way to meet people, is just to, you know, go up and say, hi, my name's so-and-so, and it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I am not great at like throwing myself out there. It's something I definitely need to work on. I recommend all of you guys try it. But even if I'm just going to an event with like friends that I already have, then like we'll run into people that they know and we'll form one big group and just all start talking that way. So that is, even if you're like not going with the purpose of making friends, I've still made friends at different events that they have been on, holding on campus. Yeah. And then Abby was there.
So definitely orientation's a great way to meet people. I know orientation's looking to be online, but but orientation team is going to be having, like, once you get to campus, some different events so you guys can get to know each other in like group settings and still do all the fun things that we would typically do during an in-person orientation. But definitely talk to the people at those events. I met my best friend at orientation, and even though he has since left Hartford, I still talk to him every day. And that's a great way to meet people.
Yeah, I would actually echo Abby's sentiment. I too met one of my best friends at orientation. He too has since left Hartford, but try to keep in touch with him. Socializing has never really been one of my things, but going to events has definitely helped me to meet a ton of new people, make a ton of new friends. Club fairs especially too, because if, like Kyle said, everyone's in a similar situation when you're first coming here. College, being for a lot of people their first time away from home, and it's a chance to reinvent yourself and to kind of become a new person. And so when it comes to finding your place and finding out what you want to do, what you want to get involved in, club fairs are definitely a great way to do that. You can network with a whole bunch of people that are in different clubs and organizations, kind of put yourself out there, put your name out there, and just kind of see where stuff like that takes you. So yeah, definitely going to events, clubs, organizations, orientation, all of that, great way to make new friends.
Awesome. Thank you guys. That was great. So I did see a question that came in and said, have you been able to watch sports/music events on campus this semester in person? And I know it definitely has been limited because of the pandemic, but does anybody want to talk about it? I don't know if any of you guys went to the baseball game this weekend, but does anybody want to talk about it or anything like that? Did anybody go? I don't know if any of you guys went.
I didn't go to the game, but they had a game at Duncan Park about 5 minutes away from the school. It was a doubleheader against Albany. They won, so yay. But the school does put on events like that. So on the lawn, if you come to see campus, maybe you'll get the campus map. We have what's called the village lawn, which is literally like a large space as big as a football field where it's just grass. So the RHA actually that Donovan's a part of will sometimes put in a projector up there and throw on a movie. I think it's called Friday Night Flicks. So they put some stuff on up there. Abby as well as an RHA. They do Friday Night Flicks when that's really nice out. The sporting events, I haven't been to any of the games this semester yet, but I do think they have limited capacity. So as long as you're in the first couple of people to sign up, you're able to go out there. But they are still trying to make it an experience like college nonetheless, because you don't want to just be here going to class only because it's in COVID. But they do try to put all those things on. So it's a pretty good overall feel, even though we are in a weird environment. They're trying their best. So that's what I have to say, really.
Yeah, and when it comes to the sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but when it comes to the non-sports end of things, something that I forgot to mention now that I'm looking at the fire pit that I'm sitting right next to, in this fire pit area, there will be open mic nights where people can. It's kind of like a karaoke type atmosphere, but different bands and different people who want to put on performances can. It's an open mic night, so whoever wants to can. And then I know when it comes to our music events, we put on over 400 different performances per year because of COVID. I don't believe we've been able to attend any in person. However, when the weather is nice, they'll set up this, big platform outside of the library where orchestras and bands and all that jazz, they can put on performances for students passing by to class. So that has been really nice to see, is the Hart School and music, dance, and theater kind of putting themselves out there, not just in their auditoriums and places where they would usually hold performances, but out on the academic side and just performing for students walking by. That's also been really cool.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So the next question that came in is it's talking about kind of some of the spaces that you guys have shown off today, talking about how many of our locations that we've shown today are renovated, and talking about a little bit of what the residential dorms look like and if those have been renovated. So Kaylee, I'm going to jump to you for this one.
So one of these spaces that you did see, which is C complex, well, C neighborhood, excuse me, that is the newly renovated basement area. Hall Hall is a couple different years old. I want to say 2007, 2008, don't quote me, but those are some of the newer buildings on campus, the newer renovations. But in terms of renovations on the upper classroom side, there aren't any. But what I will say is that they are definitely much better dorms than some of the schools that I did visit in my junior and senior year. Like I said, I currently have a single, so that was one of the bigger things to me. I share the bathroom with only 2 roommates. The third one went home because of COVID. So I share that space, and it's like in a full apartment, basically. You have your dining space, you have your living room, and you have the shared bathroom spaces. So they aren't as renovated as maybe the newer things that you're seeing that were kind of shown on the camera, but they're a lot better than a lot of like general universities. What I can suggest to you though, is if you do want to see some of those other spaces, on the university's Instagram, they did a tour of a lot of those places. And one thing I will say on top of that is that once you start to decorate the place and make it your own, it definitely feels homey and definitely feels like, you know, it is your own room, like you're at home. So definitely decorate it yourself, but that's what I can tell you about the residence halls, yes.
Thanks, Kalia. So next I'm going to kind of pair 2 questions together because they're centric to clubs and organizations here on campus. So 2 questions that came in, the first one being, are there multicultural activities on campus? So multicultural clubs and organizations, as well as an LGBTQ plus club. So Isabel and Abby, I don't know if you guys want to grab this one and talk a little bit about clubs and organizations, but that would be great.
All right, so there is a club, it's called Spectrum, and it is the LGBT club on campus, and they have their own office downstairs in GSU, and there's typically someone down there all the time, and they host a lot of really interesting events. There's a bunch of different multicultural clubs on campus. The Asian Student Association is planning a Jewels of Asia event held on, it's going to be on April 30th. It's going to have a bunch of different multicultural clubs there, just talking about different issues going on.
And the RAs just put on a cool event, which was like an identities fair. I think it was like a staff-wide event. So there was a table representing each of the different identities, whether that is like an LGBTQ identity or like a cultural identity that represented them. So there were a bunch of different tables, lots of loud music, dancing. It was all outside too, so it was really fun.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And then next, another question that came in was, are there any Jewish restaurants or delis? So does anybody want to talk about the kosher station on campus, anything like that, and what we offer on and off campus? I don't know if anybody wants to jump in or.
I personally am not Jewish, but I do know a little bit, definitely about a lot of different diets. We do have a kosher station in Commons. So they have a rotating menu that changes every day. We also have Chabad, and they host kosher dinners. They had a Passover event. I remember I had a couple friends go every day for however long Passover is. I'm not exactly sure. And they also do dinner, I believe, on Friday nights typically. And then off campus, there's West Hartford is a very Jewish area, and there's a lot of different restaurants. I'm not sure exactly which ones are kosher friendly, but there is the Crown Supermarket, which is, I believe, completely kosher, and they have a lot of really good gluten-free and vegan options there as well.
Awesome. Thanks, Abby. So I saw a question that came in that Kalia knows I'm going to throw her way just because I know she has firsthand experience with it. So how easy is it to start your own club on campus, Kalia?
Well, before I start, I'm going to plug my club, of course, the Sports Business Association. Follow us on Instagram at UHart SBA. Anyway, it's a fairly simple process. All I had to do was get 15 people that were interested in being a part of the club or even coming to the meetings. And then from there, that is where the steps start. So we are an SGA, Student Government Sanctioned Club. So we have to go through their rules. We had to make up a constitution, make up bylaws. So just some ways of how you want your club to be run and how the positions get chosen and things like that. And once you submit all that paperwork and you choose an e-board, you are up and running. You have a provisionary budget, and then after a certain period, they just make sure you did everything you were supposed to. So maybe held a fundraiser and hosted at least one event to the entire campus community. As long as you do what you're supposed to, that's listed in there, you become a club and you get to make your own budget and do all those really good things. So it was a really fun experience, I will say that. But there are a lot of clubs on campus anyway, so definitely look through the clubs first before you say, hey, I just want to get here and start a club. So definitely check out some of the other options. And then if there's really a club that you think there's a need for and you see some interest in it, then take those steps. But it's fairly simple.
Awesome. Thanks, Kelia. So I do see that your guys' questions are still rolling in here. I just wanted to let you know we are going to wrap up at about 7 o'clock here. So I am going to do kind of a last call for questions. So if you have any questions that you are dying to ask, now is the time to ask. So with that, I definitely saw a great couple questions that came in. And I guess the first one is, where do you find out about these events? Like how are these events communicated to you guys?
A lot of the events are mostly on Instagram. Pretty much every club that I am a part of, at least, we have our own Instagram page where we post all of the events. UHart Res Life on Instagram also posts the locations for like the food trucks. The Residential Hall Association, we post everything you need to know for monthly bingos and scavenger hunts and everything we plan. Pretty much every club puts their own things on Instagram. We also have U-Notes on campus. So that's just sent, if you have any events planned in your club, you send it to SGA because it's all through SGA, and they'll put it in the weekly U-Notes that come out. And so that way it's in your email and you can see when and where the event is.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. So there is another question that came in. Somebody asking if we could just kind of do a brief, quick synopsis of the student union one more time. I don't know if anybody wants to just jump in and talk a little bit about GSU. You don't have to do your whole spiel. I know Ben's already done it once today. So I don't know if anybody wants to just jump in and talk a little bit about GSU and what it has to offer really quick.
Sure. Oh, Ben, did you want to go?
You're good if you want to.
Okay, solid. All right, so brief rundown of GSU. I won't give the super long spiel that we do on tours, but kind of going floor by floor. On the top floor, you've got the CAPS, which is our Counseling and Psychological Services office. You've also got the International Center and Study Abroad office. It's a myth that certain majors can't study abroad. All majors can study abroad. That's just up to you and your advisor to figure out. On the main floor, you've got the Hawk Lounge, just a place where students can sit, relax, take a break in between classes, grab a bite to eat. We've got a rotating food station in the back in our GSU Cafe. And at that rotating food station, you've got places like Einstein Bros Bagels, Moe's, Burger Studio, The Coop, which is like chicken sandwiches, Travelino, which is like pasta, Pizza City, or Dough City rather, all that good stuff. You've also got the Career Studio, which puts on resume boot camps where they'll tear your resume apart and help you build it back up to make you more marketable to different companies. They also put on different networking events for you to be able to, put your name out there and facilitate those internships. You've got the Office of Student Engagement and Inclusion, pretty much just overseeing all those clubs and organizations, making sure everyone has something to get involved with. And the Center for Student Success, which is pretty much like a liaison between, you and every other office on campus. If you ever have trouble finding something, kind of think about your counselor's office in high school. And on the bottom floor, you've got the SGA office, which, as we've mentioned before, is Student Government Association. We've got the mail room. So if your parents want to send you care packages, that's where you'd pick them up. You've got the commuter lounge, the Spectrum office for LGBTQ+ students, and you've also got religious services offices downstairs as well.
Thank you, Donovan. That was awesome. We appreciate it. And I feel like this last question that came in is like a perfect way for us to kind of wrap up here a little bit. And it is there an activity on campus? And I'm going to go for not necessarily just an activity that's gone on in this past year, but for those of you that have been here more than a year, certainly your all-time activity that is a must do at the University of Hartford. I don't know, whoever wants to jump in first can jump in, but I feel like this would be a good one for you guys to all give your opinion on. A fun way to end it, I guess.
I can go first. I think we unfortunately couldn't have it this year due to COVID, but we have a first flight, which is the beginning and kickoff of our basketball season. And that's where we celebrate the men's and the women's team. Basketball is our big sport on campus, and it's a huge pep rally. SGA gives out shirts and flags and pom-poms and all this fun stuff. It's just a really cool event to go to. They have tug of war between a bunch of different clubs. There's a dance contest typically. It's just a really fun event, and I think it's a must for pretty much any student.
And I'll go next. One that I love that isn't like, it happens once a semester, and that is our midnight breakfast. So they like really step it up in Commons. They have their best breakfast food at night right before finals. And the professors are there serving you your food, so they stay late or come back just to talk to you. And it gets really busy. Everyone's in a great mood, even though finals are coming up. So it's a really great way to start off a really stressful week. Oh, that was such a
I guess I'll go next. Midnight breakfast is definitely top tier. I won't lie. I have to say bingo is definitely a good one, but my all-time favorite is what we call Spring Fling Spring Weekend. It's literally just an entire weekend of fun on campus. So carnival rides, there's a concert, maybe depending on the year that you're in. We have food trucks out there, and those are free again. And then it's just like an overall like fun time on the school. You guys know we don't have a football team, so I kind of compare it to like homecoming at like a big SEC school where they do like a whole thing. That's what Spring Fling is kind of like to me, and that's one of my favorite events. Technically, I've only got to experience it once because we got sent home before the second one, but hopefully I will have another one. And yeah, definitely a really great event. Kyle, what have you seen so far?
Well, I guess it's tough for a freshman, but I will say a lot of the online events this year have been a really, really good time. So I've taken part in some of like our trivia events that happen weekly that SGA puts on, and those have been really fun. And then in prior years, before I started attending the university, I came to quite a few soccer games, like with my high school team and stuff. And those were always a really great time. So I'm looking forward to getting to go to some more sporting events next year, fingers crossed, especially some soccer and basketball games and things like that.
Definitely one of my favorite is RHA Bingo. I've yet to win, but a lot of my friends have won some awesome prizes. They put it on once a month, and they have some awesome prizes, iPads, you name it, they've given it away. They do a great job. So I hope to win one day, but definitely it's a must.
Yeah, and then I guess for me, I'm hoping that these passing cars don't make it too loud. But as for me, definitely midnight breakfast, have had some fond memories with that. I unfortunately, Kayla, have to one up you. I have never been to Spring Fling, Spring Fest. Yeah, I know it's unfortunate. But my friends have had a good time. So hoping that I have one my senior year. As far as events that I have gotten to experience, October weekend. I loved October weekend. I was able to run the October 5K. Granted, I know that for a lot of people running is a punishment, but I love to run. So running the October 5K was definitely a highlight for me. And then honestly, one of the most nostalgic events I would have to say is the movie on the Village Lawn that RHA puts on. That was, I think, one of, if not the first event that I ever attended as a freshman here at UHart was the movie on the Village Lawn. We watched Avengers Infinity War, right after it came out, and that was a huge turnout. We got some people in the audience that were cosplaying as the Winter Soldier, and it was really cool. So movie on the village lawn, definitely one of my favorites, the most nostalgic by far.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. With that, I think that we are going to wrap it up for today. Thank you all so much for joining us. We appreciate you all joining us here virtually today. And thank you to our tour leaders here on campus for taking the time to talk about their experiences here at the university. I'm going to put the admission email in the chat for you guys. Please feel free to reach out to us if you have any additional questions. We know that this can be a stressful time of the year with May 1 fast approaching for all of you to decide where you are going to go to school. So please feel free to reach out to us with any questions, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. But again, thanks again for joining us, everyone, and we hope you all have a great night and a great rest of your week. Thanks so much.